Drop the beat.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Beat Drop. We have got an amazing show for you all tonight. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We had some folks in the most recent feature match that we had to get in here. So things are a little kooky. If their audio is a little weird, please let us know because we didn't get to test that before we got on here. So let's go ahead and get into it. I got my partner, as always, Gizmo Charmander, on the mic tonight. How you doing, buddy?
Jack, after this week of just tranquility matches, watching going through all those clips, trying to find, our little secret clips we're going to be playing here in a minute. It's been a long week at work, but thank God for tranquility because, man, at the end of the days have been so worth it. I got to watch my team I'm coaching, Chrysalis, 4-0 Squall. That was a good matchup. But you know what? Hey, my team Monarch, we got 3-1, so
yeah.
I'm feeling good as a coach, but as a player right now, could be a little better. But I know two of those people you mentioned that we were having tonight are feeling really good on their high horses.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was an amazing match. No shade whatsoever to the Flying Lions. You did the best that you absolutely could, but Rem's on fire right now. Absolute fire right now. So while we're on fire, let's go ahead and get to our first segment. We call it Sip It Up, where we're going to talk about some of our favorite things that we've seen in the previous couple of weeks here in the Tranquility community. So starting off, Gizmo, what was your favorite match of the last recent weeks? Which match kind of stood out to you?
I'll tell you what, a lot of the matches have been a 3-1, 4-0. So honestly, when it came down to Chicago Chaos versus Excalibur, I mean, it was a 3-2 match in Excalibur's favor, but it came down to the wire. We even had an awesome Accretion May, ult stop right there on Busan. So that's not so. I mean, we had the casters, you don't see that very often, but I mean, it literally came down to the last bit. But unfortunately, even though they were able to stop that May Blizzard, the next fight, Excalibur just came out strong and took the map, and I believe it was like 100 to, I want to say 84%. So by no means, it literally did come down to the last wire. So those teams should be very proud, and they should see what they did wrong and look forward to what they're going to do better.
Yeah, I mean, closest matches like that as we get further and further in the season are always few and far between. So I'm really interested in seeing how many of those matches we continue to see as the season goes along. I know for myself, I took it down to the Harmony tier for the Sky Guardians versus the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. Another 3-2 in favor of the Sky Guardians. Sky Guardians kind of been a little uncontested as of late, but as you can see from some of the plays right here, there's definitely a reason why. But Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, they were one of the teams that we were really looking forward to at the beginning of the season. Like, not only do they have an amazing logo, but we know some of the players we're looking kind of spicy, and we're getting to that part of the season where if you haven't gotten warmed up, if you don't know kind of where that level of expectation is, then see ya. That's pretty much what's going to happen. Stage 2 knockout round, all going to be rough for you if you don't kick it into high gear now. So tonight's other segment that we got for Amp It Up is called Saving Throw. We went into the dredges of y'all's matches and tried to find some of the clips that we felt was absolutely amazing. So a throw that was just a support or a tank or a DPS just doing something absolutely phenomenal that saved the bacon of their team. So Gizmo, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Where did you find your saving throw?
All right, well, I'm going to take us back to the Harmony tier, and actually happened last night. The Luminous Foxes versus Fahrenheit. Cucumber on the Brigida able to stop not only the Death Blossom, but at the end of the clip, able to finish off the Mercy. He's going to get the Reds. Don't think the Reds is going to do too much, but hey, better safe than sorry, right? And I'm not a big fan by all means, but you know what? I got to give credit where credit's due. That Reaper probably could have got at least 2 or 3 of Cucumber's teammates there. It could have changed the fight. And when it's on that little OT timer, every second counts. You want to get it over with, so you don't have to recontest.
Sorry about that echo, folks. Looks like I had something unselected here. So no more Gizmo echo there. If you ever hear anything wrong, let me know. That's why I don't produce Tranquility matches. You think our producers scuff it sometimes? It would just be nonstop scuff the entire night with Captain Jack. So
well, hey, at least you don't go into the void like I do. So
yeah, true, very true. All right, well. My saving throw, I gotta give some love to Excalibur versus Wildfire. We ended up seeing Jag, who I know from other communities, and just watching this clip was amazing. Not only does Jag save himself from the blizzard, but also in a clutch moment right before the freeze kicks in, throws in that lamp to make sure that their Ryan is safe, able to get out of the blizzard's harm, and then is able to just roll right back on over the enemy team. It was phenomenal to see. And folks, if you love seeing these clips on screen, be sure to be submitting to match clips. That's where we find a majority of our stuff so that we can show you all off. So Gizmo, that's about all we've got for Amp It Up tonight. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we go ahead and start throwing it to our interviewees?
Well, Jack, just going to top off with, your clip things. As you guys have now learned, it's not just about those amazing 5K, 6Ks you get. It's about you being able to use your kits to help your teammates as well. Exactly. And also, next week's our final week of stage 1.
Dang. Yeah.
So, you know what's coming up right after that, Jack?
You got to tell me. I might forget. I got dad brain after all.
I believe it's called Event Week.
Ooh.
The best week of all, in my opinion, of course. So everyone just make sure you're keeping tune and stuff. We always run a charity. And Jack, do you know what the charity is this year?
It's going to the same place it has been for a couple seasons now. Rise Above the Disorder. They do incredible work with trying to make sure that mental health care access is available for all people. They literally pay for people to go see psychiatrists and therapists and whatever other mental health services they need. You can check them out at yourrad.org, and we'll be raising money for them. Last season, we raised $10,000.
Woo!
Wow. Like we are a small yet mighty community. And if we don't beat that goal this season, that's totally fine. We totally understand that. But anything that you have to give is greatly appreciated. And we have plenty of incentives to go along with that. This season, not only can you challenge those on the podcast, the Iris podcast, you can challenge anyone from any of the podcasts. And I know us on the BeatDrop, we've been fiending to get in there. I mean, I know I'm on the Iris too, but I know Gizmo's been like, I want to get some of that. I want somebody to bet against me. But that's Thea, that's Artemis, Juggle God, Booth, OC. You want to take on Off Tank OC? You could do it. And 1v1s. All you have to do is donate, and that link will be made available here in the coming weeks. So let's not delay any further, Gizmo, because we got some interviewees ready to come in. Going on to our first interviewee of the night. They are the foundation of the Vanguard Spartans. This player is climbing in notoriety here in Season 7, and whenever they're bombing your backline or hooking you into the abyss, this off-tank just cannot be beat. Welcome to the BeatDrop stage, Nikki. How's it going, Nikki?
It's going good. How's it going for you, man?
It's going good. Just keeping the hype up, keeping the hype. That's what we do here. So let's talk a little bit about you, Nikki. We know that you are the founder of Vanguard, a team that participated last season in the Harmony tier. But there's so much more to Nikki that we don't know. So I did my research over the week, and my sources tell me that you're self-defense nut, studying Brazilian jiu-jitsu and judo. What got you into the martial arts?
When my dad, he's a Pan Am champion in judo. So it's like in my blood at this point, like just fighting and grappling and all that stuff. So I've been doing it since I was out of the womb, practically. Like it was always just ingrained in me and my family. And like it brings us through discipline and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. I remember getting into, I think, Taekwondo when I was a kid because I was real big into Power Rangers, and then my family couldn't pay for lessons anymore, and so I just had to pretend to be a Power Ranger for the rest of my life. And you know what? I'm a pretty good Power Ranger. Gosh dang it! All right, so. Let's keep on going because we did a little bit more digging, and as a dad, even well before, I absolutely loved working with kids. And I hear tell that you are currently going to college for child and youth care. What encouraged you to kind of go along kind of a path less traveled?
There was a lot of different factors. Like the main one was when my niece was born, Riley, once I realized how much I cared for her, and that made me want to work with kids more, along with the fact that I went down that path myself, went down through a really bad mental health trek, and when I was in a mental hospital, there was child and youth workers there, and they were the ones that got me into get into college, and like go down that route.
All right. Well, I mean, that's amazing. Selfless work, I feel, is always incredible. I myself, before the pandemic, was working to become a teacher. I mean, I'm planning to go back and finish my degree eventually, once COVID dies down. But I mean, to find folks that are going into selfless professions like social work and teaching and stuff like that is always amazing. So definitely good on you. And we do want to remind you folks in the chat tonight, be sure to be asking your questions. Sometimes we may be asking your question right here to our interviewees. So if you got questions for Nikki, be sure to be popping those off in the chat. Let's go ahead and get back to our line of questioning for Nikki. Going back, getting into child and youth care, martial arts, like that's a bit of dedication. Like you really got to be locked into that. It's got to be something that you're really passionate about. And I feel that we see the same thing coming from you when it comes to competitive Overwatch, being the founder of Vanguard. I mean, tell us what that journey was like, starting your organization, building up the first team, and, kind of where you are now.
It started with me and my friend Gex. So we were on the same team together. It was pretty it wasn't well run, the team we were on. So at that point we said screw it and made our own team. And that's what kind of made the foundation. It's kept growing and growing and growing. As we got more players, we ended up in Tranquility. And first season did not go well at all.
Yeah. It happens. It happens to the best of us. It really does.
And now it's going better this season, at least.
Nice. Yeah, I've found, so I've been here since season 4, and I've noticed that teams that join the first time around don't do very well. Like very few teams that join for the first time do very well at all, because you just kind of got to get used to like the mental state of everyone that's participating, because you're like, oh, it's a free tournament, like everybody's just going to be having fun. But there's some folks out here that just grind and grind and grind the game. That's their fun, is grinding out the game to become the best. So it's definitely awesome to see that you didn't let that stop you. Brought Vanguard Spartans back for another season, and actually, I feel there's a little rumor hanging around because last season you were Vanguard, and this season you're Vanguard Spartans, and typically we only see the name change, the addition. When organizations are looking to expand. You got anything you might want to release, some secrets for us here on the BeatDrop?
There's currently like a diamond team in works that I want to do Strike Season 8.
Ooh, there you go. Discord tier, you better be ready. Vanguard gonna be coming for you. All right. So let's get into a little bit more about you as a player, Nikki. Now, you are the off tank, or at least by what I can see from VODs of the Vanguard Spartans. Off tank is rough. Especially when you're essentially locked in diva jail like 90% of the time. Diva peeling for everybody every which way from Sunday. But just being an off tank and that job in particular is very difficult. What would you say? Is the best advice that you could give about how you deal with kind of having to have your head on a swivel all the time?
And just be calm. Like a lot of times when I'm at my worst, when I'm like freaked out and like overwhelmed, like when I'm calm is when I'm playing my best, which was very evident when we were in UGC. We didn't care about the tournament at all. Like it was a prep tournament for Trank, and we ended up winning it because we all just were like chilling out and just having fun with it.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's what we always like to tell people here, regardless of what rank you're playing at, from Harmony to Transcendence, or even if you've made your way past that and are playing kind of on the path to pro circuit, if you're not having fun playing the game, what are you doing? Just try to enjoy yourself. You can be part of the grind and also have a good time. Those can be mutual. Those don't have to be mutually exclusive. So, looking at everything that we've talked about tonight, you're an owner, you're a player, you got a lot going on. The grind has to weigh on you from time to time. For others in the audience that might be looking to start off their first team, or maybe they have a team that they're working on right now. How do you balance kind of being a player, being that team member that kind of works with the rest of your team, but also like knowing kind of when to step in as the authority figure for the team when crap's going awry?
To put it simply, it sucks. It just sucks because a lot of times you make friends on the team, and then you have to make that balance between having friends and being like able to like say, okay, stop being dumb. And being able to find that balance, along with like if you have to kick off your friend from a team, it's very, very hard, like extremely hard. I've always really sucked at that.
Yeah, I definitely find myself in that position just working in esports in general, because you get to work with a lot of people and you get to know a lot of people. But there are times that, especially as myself, as I've gotten into like tournament organization, that I got to be like, stop being a jerk. Like, I need you to do something, or I need you to not do this. Like, it's in the rules, or like, this is how we've got it laid out. Like, please just like do what we need you to do. So I totally understand that. So for you all in the audience, if you're dealing with that right now, just do the best that you can. That's all you can do at the end of the day. Try to have that mutual respect with your team so that they know when you got to step into that authority position that you can, you're not seen as the bad guy, so to speak. So, Nikki, thank you so much for being with us tonight, but we can't let you go without a really weird question. That's what we do here on the BeatDrop. So, Nikki, what's the name of your debut album? I hear you in the studio, baby. I know you got those vocals. What's the name of it? We want to know here on the BeatDrop.
Oh, that caught me off guard.
Well, I did say you'd get to prep some, and then you don't get to prep some. That's the way it works.
It'd be an inside joke in my team, but Khan's router.
Hans Router. Ooh, so see now we're gonna have to do some more when we're getting down to some more research on the Vanguard Spartans. We gotta figure out what that means. All right. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We're gonna go ahead and let you go because we actually have our very first double interview tonight. Nikki, before we let you go, is there any other shout outs that you want to give, or thanks or whatnot before we go ahead and head on to our next interview?
Honestly, I think like he gives me so much shit, but the biggest thank you I have to give to anybody is Muffins, because he's such a good coach. He has like almost revived us from the dead, pretty much, after that terrible last season.
All right. Well, Muffins, you the hero. You good. You're a good bean. All right. Gizmo, I'm going to go ahead and transition on over. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our pair of star interviewees?
All right, Jack. Well, for our final interview of the night, it's time to prepare for trouble and make it double. These two hail from a good old nostalgia org, one being a tracer, or excuse me, lost my tracer powerhouse and Discord tier, the other keeping them alive and sprinkling candy on their dead body. Jack, I need to read this story. These two were enemies in season 6, but reminiscence brought them together, and their power has to be well over 9,000. So welcome to the BeatDrop, Asdo and Glitch.
Hello.
Welcome. All right. So, as the introduction mentioned, Asdo and Glitch, you both have come from two opposing teams in the Discord tier. Asdo, you were originally on, not Discord tier. You were in Koala Kings on Harmony tier during season 6, and then, if I remember correctly, and then Glitch, you were on Q for Quarantine. So. How did we get connected here? What was the bridge in the off season that brought you two together? We'll start with Exto for this question.
Yeah, so I was on Joey last season.
Oh, Joey, that's it. Your shirt threw me off, man. I was looking at the shirt. I was like,
had to rep
right? No,
had to rep them, but no, I basically in this last off season after the championship, I decided to see what else is out there. Kind of want to meet more players in this community, see what else is going on, get more interspersed with other players, and kind of just get my name out there a bit more. So ended up leaving the Marsupial org, not fully, still doing some coaching for them, still trying to be around with them as much as possible, still a lot of love for them, but decided, all right, I'll come over to Nostalgia and play for Cap, which was a mistake, but that's fine. We're here now, so gotta stick with
Cap.
it.
True. Yeah, we know how that is. Glitch, do you feel the exact same way as
Yeah.
There's a little regret in there.
I mean, it's capital, so kind of a mistake to begin with, but we sort of followed the same path. I also left Q to sort of go and look. I really enjoyed the Tranquility community, and I made some friends there, and I wanted to continue, meet new people, sort of diversify. So kind of ended up on the same path.
Awesome. Well, that's absolutely incredible. Gizmo, why don't you take the next question?
All right. So, as we mentioned, you two are a nice pair when it comes to support in DPS. And it's not always a simple pick when you're running, that support DPS duo as just, playing the Mercy Pocket. When it comes to playing with the team, who is your preferred duo in your roles? And we'll start with you, Glitch, since support's what keeps Asdo alive to pop off like he does.
I mean, I don't really have a big preference. As long as us isn't throwing, there's really nothing that make me happier. And as long as he plays the game, that's perfect. Mm-hmm. That's the dream right there.
I gotcha. How about you, Asdo? Who is your dynamic duo while you're flying around or zipping around?
I mean, DPS wise, no preference. Both Seraph and Concept, all-stars in their own rights, incredibly talented players, able to build up synergy without them throughout the season. It's been a lot of fun, but having that diva pocket and DNA, he's there for me. He puts himself on the line every time. So I gotta give him credit. But in general, I mean, this team is just really well gelled together. So big shout out to everybody.
So now we gotta kind of go a little bit deeper. You know, this is an interview after all. So Asdo, you know, we all know that you're an absolutely cracked DPS. If people aren't already thinking about you for MVP right now for Discord tier, why not? Why aren't you already, folks? Come on. But you can't just like start off cold, right? So why don't you give us a little bit of like what your normal like warm up routine is on DPS? You know, you do a little you do a little warm up match. Do you do some of the what's it called, the aim clicker little games that they got? Or
I do my fair share of aim clicker games for sure. But usually, and people that know me, I'm a Mystery Heroes fiend. That is all I play. I've got like almost 1,000 hours in it, so it's what I do. In terms of my warm up, I usually run some aim labs to start, just to kind of get warm. I'm not really using it to kind of train outside of the game because I find it's way different from when you're actually in the game. There's some great codes as well within the workshop itself for aim trainers, so look up anything and you can definitely find something to help you out. Helps with tracking and just kind of getting you warm for the game. So I don't really do too much. Drinking water, being healthy, it helps out. Making sure you're well rested, all of it goes well into playing a good game.
Yeah, that I could definitely. Although I agree with it, it's I know for those of us that are maybe locked in basements somewhere, it's not always the pattern that we end up finding ourselves. But yeah, getting on that healthy track, especially if you're spending a lot of time grinding it out at a computer. I mean, you know, just look at the Overwatch League when they're showing kind of the behind the scenes. You know, they still have like workout rooms and like, you know, healthy meals prepped for each meal and stuff like that. So I mean, you're becoming an athlete to a certain extent when you're playing in esports. So Glitch, now as captain of the team, we're gonna ask you to spill a little bit of tea. All right, so who's the biggest class clown on your team? Who is that player that during the match is memeing more than focusing on the actual game?
The beautiful thing about Reminiscence is that we have a pyramid of 3 players who will troll. So
so there's not just one.
No, there's 3. But listen, primarily, you know. So we have Bloodhunger and DNA, our beautiful tank line. They like to do a little bit of thing, but
okay.
You know, our main troller, we got LCS, you know, we got Lucy in the game. He'll do a little bit of trolling. I mean, he's playing on 200 ping, 14-year-old Chilean main support gamer. It's hard. Yeah, he's a little kid. He's doing a little bit of trolling, but the 3 of them together when they're all at the troll peak, hard to handle.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. And for those of you folks in the chat, I do understand that Glitch's mic is scuffed. Unfortunately, there's not a lot that I can do about that on my end. You know, we didn't get a chance to test things out ahead of time, but hopefully we can still understand kind of what's going on and or at least I can understand Glitch. So, you know, maybe it's the glitch in the system, quote unquote.
well,
you don't
it's
have
almost like you had that
joke.
planned because they just released the Matrix.
No,
today.
actually I didn't. And if you have not seen that trailer, by the way, not the Matrix trailer, you know the one I'm talking about, the custom made Busan Sombra clip.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yes.
What a
That was
bomb.
awesome.
What a bomb. All right, let's go ahead and bring this train a little bit back on track, Gizmo, with our next question.
Okay, so now we're going to get away from your Overwatch playing, and we're going to dive a little deeper into, you know, things you might explore outside in the gaming world. So, Asdo, you know, we've learned you've recently joined a clan in Destiny 2. carry those for your Joseph Electronic Sports that you will play with, you know. And for those of you who don't know what Destiny 2 is, shame on you. It's a great mix of Borderlands and Halo combined.
It's amazing.
But it's not as bad as the pre-sequel. Jack,
No,
come
no,
on,
it is not.
It's better.
No,
But
the
it's a
pre-sequel's
fun
horrible.
game.
It's not
It's
that
a fun
bad.
game. I play Destiny 2, so who knows? I need to find a new clan. Might join yours. We'll see. If you haven't.
Okay, we got space.
Nice. So what's been one of your craziest moments while playing Destiny, Asdo?
Craziest moments while playing Destiny. Anytime I'm on with the boys, it is just a nightmare. They are terrible. It's fascinating how you can do so bad at the game. Like, okay, hear me out. I'm not joking here. You can ask any of them, but basically, you'll always have in raids. We're not big PvP players. We like to relax, so we're doing some raids. You got me at the top, most precision kills, most kills, least deaths, most damage for bosses, things like that, right?
Man, it's almost like you're a DPS player or something. That's weird.
I'm actually a D.Va, so that's what's fascinating. But we'll have a couple runners in behind. You know, they're doing well. They're competing. They're doing their part. And then there's some, like, I'm fairly sure maybe they have an even KD ratio and we're playing against bots. Like, I don't know how that's even possible, but they manage.
Yikes.
So it's always a treat. It's always nothing but pain when we play, but we get through it, and that's what matters.
Yeah, I did get the information that you were the carry of the team when
100%.
it came to Destiny 2. So I can't say that I'm surprised. I didn't know essentially the rest of your team would be running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
They don't have
But
their monitors on. It's
Well, good. I'll fit in right away. Then.
I mean, what's the good of playing the game? I think what they're doing is they're just trying to build you up, you know, and just trying to make you feel good, you know, make sure that they show you that they appreciate the skill that you bring to the table, that you can
they're
literally
letting him do all the work, so that way when they
so
get
that they
the
can get
exotics, then they can rub it in his face because they didn't have to do the work.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Build up my self-esteem and then just tear me down.
and then just tear
Oh,
down,
you didn't get the
tear down.
Mythical class? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, too bad.
We'll have to run Bottle Glass again next week.
All right, we got another one there for Glitch there, Gizmo.
All right. Well, Glitch, we've been told you're an absolute trivia monster. Your teammates said that when it comes to history, you're an absolute nutter. What would you say is the weirdest history fact you know?
Safe for work, of course, because we know some history is not very safe for work.
I mean, I can't really think of anything I think is particularly interesting off the top of my head. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, you got one. None of it's interesting. Just say one.
That's true.
Wow,
I mean,
rude.
I had my American history lecture this morning. So we learned about the McCormick Harvester Company today, and their beautiful history of blocking the Union strikes in the United States. So we learned about the dissolving of the Knights of Labor. You know, we talked about anarchy. Love history. Most people don't. I get it.
Hey,
It's boring.
well, it's boring, but I always live by the line that if you those that don't learn history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
always be paying attention to your history, folks. Learn from it, grow, do better. All right, so we got one more question, and for those of you in the chat, remember you can still ask Asdo or Glitch or both of them questions if you got them there in the chat, and we might ask them here on the BeatDrop. So go ahead and start popping those questions in. One thing that we did find kind of interesting as we were talking to the people to get to learn a little bit about you all is that both of you are actually really big into art. What can you tell us about kind of what got you into art, whether it be, just like sketching or drawing on a notepad, or, even I know Glitch, you do graphic art. So what can you tell us about that? Starting with Glitch.
So I wouldn't call what I do art. I don't think there's a lot of beauty in it. But yeah, I started learning to sort of graphic design my freshman year of high school. I took one Photoshop class just because I needed an elective credit, and I went from there and been self-taught since. You might have seen some of my work in the tranquility community specifically. I've done work for Nikki's Vanguard. I do it for the Nostalgia.org. I did it for Key for Quarantine last season. I've done stuff for Star Esports, Space Pirates. I have a rather large portfolio within this specific community. But it's something I learned. I wanted it as an outlet to express myself, and also I think it's kind of fun to put something serious in a tournament that sometimes is a little trivial. When you can have a little fun, but also hype yourself up, make yourself look a little cool. I think that's kind of fun and interesting.
Awesome. How about you, Asdo? I hear you are quite the game sketcher. Anytime you're doing Scriblio with the team, you just blow everybody out of the water.
I make these very convoluted puzzles in Scriblio, and I let them figure it out. But my background in art kind of just came from growing up. My mom was just like, "Hey, you like art?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I kind of was just like, all right, I'll go to school for it. Ended up doing 2 years of graphic design and then 2 years of interactive media, which is basically video editing, 3D animation, web design, web coding, things like that. So basically went through those programs, and to kind of bit of info on my name, it's an acronym for Art School Dropout. So that is there you go.
All right.
To tell you how that went. But
all right.
In general, it's a I've still been doing a bunch of stuff. I've started sketching recently. I still do a lot of local graphic design for local businesses, so doing their logos and their branding, things like that. And then still keep in touch with video editing, because that's kind of what I find the most fun in the arts. So yeah, that's kind of my history in it.
Yeah, I'll agree. I was a communication major, so I dabbled a little in video editing, so that is fun.
Yeah, it's so good.
All right. Let's go ahead and ask this this next one here, Gizmo. I highlighted it for you.
All right. So, what piece of art would you say is your masterpiece? We'll start with you, Asdo, this time.
So, okay. There's one that I drew, which is a knockoff of Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc. And I don't know how to say it in like the most PG-13 way. They're not okay. That sounds bad. It's not that bad.
So what you're saying is it's a not safe for work drawing of Monsters Inc. characters.
I would not
ever blood and gore and
I would not ever put it on a stream. But all I will say is that Sully is carved of fine marble. That is what I will say.
Really beautiful.
It's amazing. The REM team knows what it is.
It's amazing.
All right. That is interesting. That is interesting. How about you, Glitch?
My greatest piece of art is something that I've made. It comes from the contributions of others, and that's the folder on my desktop that is filled with every single screenshot I've taken of someone misspelling our team name, including a member of our team. It really is. I'm hoping to have a pretty large collection by the end of the season of these screenshots. So if you're in a situation where you need to spell the word reminiscence out, spell check yourself before you send that I will screenshot and make you live with me forever.
Nice.
Dyslexia right here. I always spell check. Jack got to watch me respell like 4 times while we were
exactly. Well, I would definitely love to see like the finished product, just like a wall after the season's over, like a digital wall collage of all the different spellings of reminiscence. That would be pretty amazing. Yeah. All right, so we have been getting a couple of questions in the chat, and I'm gonna save that one till last. I'm gonna go with the funny one first. What's your favorite thing about Capital? Or maybe the better question, is there a favorite thing that you have about Capital?
Yeah, my favorite thing about Capital is he's a Discord caller.
True. That's actually highlight of scrims. Highlight of
That's my
scrims. It's
favorite thing
amazing.
about Capital.
It's crazy how much better I play when he's not in the call.
True.
But
I could believe. I could believe.
favorite thing about Capital without roasting him too hard is yeah, I don't have anything, honestly. He's a great guy, really knows how to build a team together and kind of build up some synergy, runs a good org, and in general is very friendly with every player I've seen. Is incredibly relatable and puts in a lot of work for it.
Aw, that's nice. How about you, Glitch? Do you actually have something that you enjoy about Capital?
It's hard to deny his ability to scout people coming into this tournament. He's found so many no-namers and turned them into, tranquility player icons. You see it with flashbacks. Hopefully you see it with this team. You see it with Amnesia. He's very talented for things like that. But he still stinks. I don't care, even if we do good.
Well, I was about ready to say, it looks like both of you just became free agents, so congratulations.
Sweet. LFT. Live LFT. Doing trials anytime.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's amazing. All right. So this was another question that I thought was really interesting that was brought in the chat. As we know, especially with teams that are coming together for the players that are coming together the first time and, kind of working everything out as a team to create that cooperation and cohesion. What would you say is one of the hardships that y'all on Reminiscence have faced kind of leading up to kind of where you are in the season thus far?
Glitch, you want to start this?
Yeah. I think the most obvious and public hardship that we faced was probably the loss of Quack and Queens. Like, it's a loss. It's an L. It do be like that. But it was a good match. They played real well. Like, nothing but respect for the Marsupial org and that team specifically. Like, they're very good. And it gives us a good amount of things to focus on. It sort of really narrows down what we need to do as a team, sort of get ourselves back in that top spot in the Discord tier and sort of focus up for the playoffs and have a pretty clear window at our end goal. But, that's probably the most obvious and social facing one.
All right. How about you, Asdo?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot to work through. I think a big thing for us is that we kind of started out really strong even before this season of Trank. Like in scrims earlier in the summer, we were kind of doing a lot better than I was expecting. We gelled really, really well together. So I would say recently we've hit a bit of a rough patch, not necessarily just in scrims or games, but just I feel that there's a lot going on in the team. So this week, something I've been trying to do is dial it back. With Joey Esports, I kind of took a bit of a leadership role in comms, trying to calm as much as possible. And usually what ends up happening is when I try to compensate with comms and try to kind of guide my team there, my play diminishes a lot. And I'm not nearly as mechanically good as I can be. I don't make the right decisions all the time because I'm trying to do too much for the team. So this past week, I've been kind of doing experiments with that just in our scrims, and it's been going pretty well.
Nice.
I mean, we saw the game today. It was kind of, it was quick. So it was a good game. We played really, really well and a lot more to our potential than we kind of showed against Quokka. I think in our Quokka game, we weren't really fully there. The maps we won didn't even feel as good as we have played. So I think there's still some hard times to work through for us, but we're definitely on the up again.
Awesome. Well, I think that's always good. I feel that every team kind of has that moment. We always in the in the content creation team, we call it hump week. When week 3 hits and you see like the absolute purge and additions to teams all across the tiers, and it's sometimes it's like that, and sometimes you have to decide as a team, like, are we going to work through these issues so that we can get better, so that we can overcome, or are we going to kind of go our separate ways and, try to see if we can find another place to continue the tournament on. So the fact that y'all on REM are noticing these issues or are willing to work together to be able to make that happen is incredible. And the fact that you all agree that Cap smells 100%, that's perfect. That's perfect. So, and I'm not asking how old Asdo is. We are not doxing people on the BeatDrop, all right? We don't do that, all right? You want to dox? I'll give you dox, all right? Go over to Liquipedia, find either one of the things that I've done, whether it be Invitational, the Trank Open, whatever, and look at the name next to it. You're welcome. Your mind will be shattered. Go ahead. So, we do have one last question. Of course, we can't let you go without a weird one. So, Gizmo, why don't you go ahead and ask?
All right. So, I think I know what I'm picking here, but you know what? Everyone's got their own taste. If both a taxi and a limo were priced at exactly the same, which one would you choose? And we'll start with you, Glitch.
I was born and raised in New York City, and some of the stories I have heard from New York City cab drivers are absolutely insane. I'm paying the same price to hear those stories going in a limo. You bet. I'm gonna go listen to those old men who sit in the car the entire day talking about what they see on the streets of New York.
It's like a good barbershop.
It's beautiful.
All right, how about you, Asdo?
So I'm taking the crackhead drivers every time, hands down. I think the thing with the limo, and especially in living in the city and stuff like that, parking's a nightmare. Come on, turning corners, you're going to be going way slower. Your commute has just increased by half an hour the second you take that limo. Plus, the stories you hear from those crazy cab drivers, good content, really good content. You can make a living off of that. Start streaming it. Honestly, just start driving around in that.
Nice,
and I think as well, I mean, it depends on the price, right? Are we looking more at the limo price or more at the cab price for both? If it's the
the question is that if they're priced the same. So yeah, the price actually isn't an option.
$600 or are they both $30?
Both $30.
I mean, you're
that's
right.
A good point. That's a good point.
You're right.
I'm saying my cab, but I'm just saying it's worth.
I'm guessing you had an answer for this one as well, Gizmo. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm picking the limo.
Oh,
I got free champagne. Let's go.
All right, you weirdos. Oh,
I already got enough of my own stories. I don't need anyone else's.
Yeah, I also have to do the limo only because I waste so much time driving. Sometimes I just want to be able to sit back and like work on stuff instead of driving. That's the only reason that I would pick that, because agreed, like cab drivers sometimes they're nuts, but I ain't getting no work done. I'm holding on to the oh crap handle the entire ride. So needless to say, that is going to be an interesting one. Triangulum, you're trying. Good job trying to find me on Liquipedia. But you can just look. You have to look up my name as it is on screen. That's how you're going to find me. I don't go by full Captain Jack. All right, there you go. All right. So I think that's about it for tonight. We had a little bit of a long one today, but that's all right. Glitch, Asdo, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Are there any shout outs, anybody that you'd like to thank, or anything else you'd like to talk about before we let you go for the evening?
Yeah, shout out to the boys. They're out watching. They're, I think, still sitting in Discord or watching with each other. Seeing them. Shout out Ram. Shout out the rest of Nostalgia who's rolling in chat. I expect nothing less. So good job, guys. A+. Nice.
How about you, Asdo?
I mean, yeah, shout out to the REM team. It's a really solid group. Looking forward to the team shenanigans for the rest of the season, and then. Also, big shout out to the boy Jeff Bot. He inspired me to get some shirts for the LA trip, and
nice.
Even though grand finals have canceled, we're still heading out there, so we're looking fun. It's gonna be
nice.
Be a good
Nothing wrong with that. I know for folks that are always wanting to know if we do like if we do like tranquility meetups and stuff like that, we do. There's just been, a pandemic the last 18, 19 months. So we can't do it now, but dang, I tell you what, I got a little taste of that when I went to visit Boston. I got to meet Cap and Bowsy and a couple of other folks, and it's good. It's good to get not only is it I'm not locked inside my house, but I also just got to actually meet people that I spend pretty much every day talking with sometimes. So eventually that Trank meetup gonna be coming, folks. So thanks, Asdo and Glitch, for joining us here. We're gonna go ahead, close out the night there, Gizmo, as I go ahead and show off some of Nikki's clips, because sometimes I get lost in the sauce when it comes to showing off clips. So while we go ahead and close out the night, we want to say thank you to Nikki and Glitch and Asdo for joining us. If you would like to be on the Beat Drop, you can always join us by me not having this resized the way that it's supposed to be. You can always join us by filling out the application. All you got to do is you've got to contact me in a DM. That's really all you got to do. I'll give you a link to the application, and then you will get to see kind of the inner workings. We'll get you scheduled, and we'll come up with some questions for you. We'll do our own little bit of sleuthing. I know you all said stalkers in the chat. Stop it. We're not those kind of people. And we have a good time. I think we have a good time here on the Beat Drop, even though it's live. I think we still keep that same feel. We ran a little late tonight, so I'm gonna get yelled at about that. But I think last week, so we make up for it a little bit this week. I think that's quite all right. There we go. We got that clip going now. So also let us know if there's anything that we can do to improve the Beat Drop. We're always looking for suggestions on ways that we can improve what we do here. We're trying this out as a new thing, and that's the same thing for all the content creation team channels. You're talking about Coach's Corner, you're talking about Predicting Tranquility, and the Iris podcast. We're all open to feedback, so be sure to be letting us know in that podcast channel. So Gizmo, it's been a long night. You got anything else for us before we go ahead and wrap up the night?
All right, just because I know several people in the chat have wanted me to do this all night. There's your dunk. And I'm Gizmo Charmander.
And my name.
Yeah. And by the way, we'll see you on Monday with Iris Podcast. Have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Have a good weekend, folks.